Fitness, nutrition, mindset, and accountability community. In this community, we talk about four major areas. We talk about fitness, we talk about nutrition, we talk about our mindset, and then we talk about accountability. And within all of those areas, we kind of deep dive. It's not just overall fitness. We dive into strength training, we dive into stretching, and that mindset is kind of what we're talking about today. We are going to be reframing our mindset, really making sure that we are taking time because we can do all of the work in the gym and still not see results, and we do all the work in the kitchen or in our nutrition and still not see results. That sometimes what is missing is our mindset. Sometimes what's missing is our sleep or our stress management. So we tackle all of those areas inside this group. For those of you who are new, this group is for busy moms or busy women who have been struggling to find the balance between their health, their nutrition, their mindset, and really just want to start having more energy, feel more confident, be stronger, and learn simple, easy habit changes that are going to allow you to reach your goals without you having to give up your wine and cheese, your beer and pizza, or whatever that guilty pleasure may be. So there's a few ways to get the most out of these calls. Number one is if you're watching live on Facebook right now, drop hashtag live in the comments below. Let us know who you are and where you're from, and click that little Zoom link above my head and actually jump into the Zoom room. Every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, I go live. I do it through Zoom so that if you ever have the opportunity or you'd like to jump on and have real coaching, ask questions, be in the conversation, that is where you're going to get the most out of it. You're going to be able to walk away with something that you can actually put into action. Way number two, because I know not everyone can jump on Zoom, is to watch live on Facebook. And that's when I have you drop the hashtag live. Let us know who you are and where you're from. Introduce yourself. We have just about 300 people in this group, and they're from all over the country. We have people in here from Lansing, Michigan. We've got people from Washington, people from Texas, people from Maryland. So it's really awesome to connect and see where you guys are with one another. And the third best way is to watch that replay. And watching that replay, you may be watching on YouTube or you may be watching here in the Facebook group. Either way, make sure you drop hashtag replay in the comments below. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and same thing applies. Treat the replay as if you're here live. Ask questions, answer the questions that I ask, show up and participate. Because if we're taking time out of our day, I want you to be able to get something out of it. So today's training, like I sort of mentioned, is going to be around mindset. And it's funny, I used to not consider myself a reader. I never enjoyed reading. I was not the kid who always had a book in their hand. People will be like, "Oh, did you read that book?" I was like, "Yeah, I've skimmed it. I've looked at the main pieces or I read the cliff notes on it." And it was probably been about 2 months now that I picked up a book called The Gap and the Gain because I'd heard phenomenal things about it. And I was like, okay, I keep hearing things about it. Let me try it. Let me start with just reading 20 minutes a day or 20 pages. I came up with, I either had to read 20 pages or 20 minutes, whichever one came first for me. And I noticed that I really enjoyed the book. And when I finished that book, I started another book, Atomic Habits. And I started to get into reading, and I now call myself a reader. And it's one of those where I'm still not carrying that book around with me everywhere. It's not always, my nose is not always in it, but I do consider myself a reader now. And by just flipping that mindset there, it's been interesting to see the changes that have happened. Like I get excited when somebody sends me a new book, or I want to hear what other people are reading. So, speaking of that, we are going to be talking about the gap in the gain today. If you saw the cover of the event, you're going to see the picture of the book. This is without that pretty casing on it. But this is a book that I've been hearing for years. Morgan, you need to read it. You need to read it. I'm like, okay, I'll add it to the list. I'll add it to the list. And it is one that I now recommend to everybody. It's one that in any of our programs, the book that if you're going to work on your mindset, if we're going to work on reframing, you read this book. So I'm going to give you a little breakdown of what the book is, just so you have a little understanding. And then one of the fun parts about this book is throughout in each chapter or in most chapters, they give you little exercises of, okay, sit down and answer these questions, or here's an exercise you can go and implement. The reason that I'm talking about this book and these exercises is there is an exercise that I've been doing for my business when I started working with a business coach 3 years ago. but I hadn't been doing it in my personal life. And when reading this book, it took part of that exercise I'd already been doing, but then it added a part two to it. So we're going to go through that exercise. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to show you what it looks like so that you can actually leave today's call knowing how to implement. So The Gap and the Gain is written by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Here is a summary of it, essentially, is I'm going to give you a little summary. I'm going to screen share here for a minute so you can see the visual because I like seeing the visual as I explain, but that doesn't mean don't read the book. There's so much more in it than just this little summary. So let me share my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see here, it says The Gap and the Gain. Most people, especially high ambitious people, are unhappy because of how they measure their progress. We all have an ideal or a target or a goal. That's all kind of in that same realm. A moving target that is always out of reach. When we measure ourselves against the ideal, we're in the gap. However, when we measure ourselves against our previous selves, then we're in the gain. So there's two different ways that we look at our success. The gap is how we tend to always look at our success. It's natural to what normally happens. That's where our brains hang out most of the day. But we can reframe it to see it in the gain. And the exercise I'm going to show you today is going to help you at the end of your day reframe that last hour of your day into a gain. So up here is your brain. We've got the gap. So if you're in the gap mentality, you feel failure, frustration, disappointment, low self-esteem, guilt, depression. If you're in the gain here, you feel success, satisfaction, confidence, high self-esteem, enjoyment, optimism. So already right there, gain is what we want to strive for. Gap is where we tend to sit. Here's the difference and here is why. So we have our starting points here. And then we have our ideal, which is that goal, whatever we are trying to reach, that ideal. And then we have what we've achieved, which is that middle ground, because we start somewhere, we work a little bit, but we still haven't reached that goal. And normally what happens is we see our start and we see our ideal. So that's what we visualize is we see where we're starting and where we want to be. But when we're in the gap, we measure from where we are midway through that progress to how far to everything we haven't done. So we measure forward, seeing, oh, I still haven't done this. Oh, I still haven't done this. Oh, I still haven't done that. Whereas when we're in the gain, it's the same exact process. The only difference is instead of looking forward at everything we haven't done, we turn around and we look back at everything we have completed. So for instance, if you are looking to change your lifestyle, and you keep thinking, the scale just is not moving, it's not moving. If I have you turn around and look back, you're probably going to see things of, oh, I'm drinking more water, I'm eating more fruits and vegetables, I'm moving my body more than I did before, I sleep better. You're going to see things that may not equal that end goal quite yet, but you're going to see progress in different ways. So it's really important that we take time to look at the gain rather than the gap. Because if you're trying to hit that weight loss goal and you don't recognize all of those other little successes and wins that you had previously to where you are now, you're still going to be like, oh, I'm not there, I'm not there, I'm not there. So if you have read this book, I would love for you to drop in the comments, let me know you've read it and what your biggest insight from the book was. If you haven't read it and you would like to, drop it in the comments. Let me know. I'll get you the Amazon link. I got it off Amazon. I actually borrowed this, but then I had to buy another copy. Amazon link. You can also do it on Kindle and Audible, I believe. I like the physical book because of the exercise in it. You can actually write in the book. They give you a little bit of room. They space things out a little bit nicer. I do suggest grabbing a different notebook though, so everything's in one spot. So as you have the overall summary of The Gap and the Gain in the book. And like I mentioned, throughout the book, they offer a bunch of different exercises that they encourage you to, okay, now pull open a notebook and write these questions down and take time to answer these. And I've done trainings on different exercises, but today is a 2-minute only exercise, which is fun. It's at the end of your day. It's in chapter 5, page 117 in the real book, and it's called Measure in 3 Wins Daily. So the benefits of this and the goal of this exercise is to boost your gratitude and confidence, direct your subconscious while you sleep, give yourself a purpose for the next day, and retrain your brain to see the gains rather than the gaps. So from all of this, I would love to know in the comments below, let me know if you notice, where do you spend most of your time? Are you someone who spends it in the gap, or are you someone who spends it in the gain? Or are you kind of about 50-50? You feel like you're somewhere in the middle, that half the day you spend in the gain, the other half you're like, I'm in the gap again. It's really natural for all of us to hang out in the gap. And as soon as we're in the gain, something else happens and we put ourselves back in the gap because that's the way our brain has initially been wired. So we have to retrain it. So as you drop that in the comment, I'm going to keep moving forward. So how this exercise works is they encourage at the last hour of your day to grab your notebook, and you can do this by a notebook, you can do this by the notes section in your phone, or by sending yourself a text message. I send myself a text message because I like seeing, it's just easy, it's convenient. I don't need to have a notebook on me if I'm traveling or whatever. So biggest thing is at the end of your hour, make sure you have some way to write down your 3 wins for the day. And then you're going to create your 3 wins for tomorrow. And they're going to be important wins and not urgent ones. Meaning they're things that you want to do that are important to you, but it's not an urgency type of matter. So by creating and making your 3 wins for tomorrow, it leaves you ending your day excited about the next day. And oftentimes, when we have something to look forward to and we have something that we're excited about, we tend to have wins that are even bigger than the 3 that we created the night before. So 2-minute exercise is all we should spend on this. It's not a sit down and write a big novel. You can if you would like, but it's meant to be simple and quick. So what I do is I take the date. So I have date, colon, and then I type in today's date. Then I have today's wins, 1, 2, 3, and then tomorrow's wins, 1, 2, 3. So I have that just in my notes section completely blank, and it's a template. So every single day I copy that, and then I paste it in the text message, and then I fill it out. So date, today would be 10/5. Today's wins, I'd pick my 3 wins from the day. So 3 you could choose are, I had a 30-minute walk outside, I had all my vegetables, and I connected with a friend I hadn't seen in a while. Great, we saw all the wins for the day. Tomorrow's wins is, okay, it's Friday. So what are things that are important that I want to accomplish to tomorrow, but that are not urgent, but just leave me in a state of creativity and ready to move into the next day. And that could be get another 30-minute outside walking because it makes me feel great. That could mean call a friend I haven't talked to a while. And that could mean schedule an appointment you've been putting off. Could mean a variety of different things. There is no right and wrong when it comes to your wins. It's just about celebrating the successes in your day, the things that make you feel good, the things that you are proud of yourself for, that seems super, super tiny. So that is the exercise. Super easy, 2 minutes. If it takes you more than 2 minutes, I've got some what ifs here that tend to throw people off. So some of the what ifs I hear in this exercise are, what if I don't complete the wins that I created the night before? So for instance, those tomorrow wins that you're creating, if I don't actually do those tomorrow, oh well, I have to still find 3 wins from that day because sometimes life doesn't go as planned. Sometimes we have an appointment with a friend and that gets canceled, and that's not actually going to end up being a win. But how did you reframe? How did you put yourself back in the game when something like that got canceled? That would be your win. So just because you create it for tomorrow doesn't mean it has to happen, doesn't mean when life throws a curveball at you that you failed. All it means is we've still got to find 3 wins for that day. The other what if I hear is, what if I have more than 3 wins to celebrate for the day? Great. Write down as many as you'd like. The goal is 3 though. And 3 is a really nice number because I feel like I can always try to find one in different areas of my life. And that's one of the challenges that I do is I don't try to keep all of my wins for the day all in my health or all in my business or all in my relationships or all in my friends, whatever that looks like. I try to grab one from different areas. And for you, if you're not sure what to pull from yet, 3 is also a really nice number to get us trained in just seeing those wins. The final what if that I hear is, what if I have more than 3 wins to create for the next day? In the book and everything else that I teach you guys is it's not an all or nothing. So start with 3. If tomorrow you complete all those 3, you can always add more, but only write down 3 because life throws things at us. We get off track. There's a what if that pops up in the day, or there's a wrench that's thrown in, whatever that looks like. So when you are creating tomorrow's wins, I want no more than 3 because we always give ourselves this really long list of things to do. And then we only get 2 or 3 done. And then we feel like, oh, I was a failure. I didn't get all the things. 3 is a really nice number that everybody can complete in their day. So, as you are going to implement this, if you are ready to implement this, drop goals in the comments. Actually, drop gain in the comments below. Let me know you're going to actually start implementing this. Some of you are probably thinking, I'm not going to implement this because I have to do this every day. If that is what is pushing you away from this exercise, pick one day to start. Maybe it's Sundays. Sundays, I think, are a great day. You come off a great week and you're starting into the next week. Pick Sundays and pick your 3 wins from the previous week and create your 3 wins for the upcoming week. And then once you've done that, then go to the middle of the week and add a second day. So maybe you then do Sundays and Wednesdays. Then maybe you do Sunday, Wednesday, Fridays, and slowly build up. So start with just one day and go for the week, and then slowly build that into a daily habit. That is something that I actually added to our My Coach app when we work one-on-one or we work in the Commit to Your Health program, the Commit to Your Health holiday program. This fall/winter is going to incorporate this into it. You guys are going to have this exercise because I really see the mindset change that happens when we practice it daily. So if you are interested at all in the Commit to Your Health holiday program, drop commit in the comments below. We are sending out the wait list right now. I will be opening the doors for an early bird special in about a week and a half. So if you want to make sure you've got all those details right when it kicks off so that you can maintain your weight this holiday season, make sure you're getting your movement, working on your mindset, making sure you're eating healthy all throughout the holidays without having to give up the things you love, drop commit in the comments and I will get you those details. So on that note, remember, if you are ready to take on this exercise, whether it's just one day a week, 2 days a week, or every single day, drop gain in the comments so that I can follow up with you. And it's a quick 2-minute exercise. Start practicing this and seeing those wins and creating those wins for tomorrow. I will see you all same time, same place next Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you have any questions.